coast? Why would you not want to live along the coast? And so that's the issue we're having now. Where do we put these people? How do they get out of the way? But so many of these coastal homes and communities are not safe at this point. If you're talking about a 10-foot storm surge, it is very, very important before nightfall to get into a safe place. No way to move tomorrow morning.
Category 5 is the latest update coming from the National Hurricane Center. Chad Myers is watching all it, tracking all of it, minute by minute for everybody. Thank you so much, Chad. So with Puerto Rico's 3.5 million people now in the crosshairs of Hurricane Maria, the governor there has declared a state of emergency, of course, but he also says that he's worried that people there aren't listening to these warnings. Listen here.
Complacency worries me the most. You know, some people might think that, might not really understand the magnitude of this hurricane, or might think that it won't hit us as hard, and all indications are that this is going to be devastating and catastrophic. This is going to be a very dangerous time, and we want to make sure right now we recognize that infrastructure is going to be broken, but we need to focus on safety lives.
That's absolutely right. All right, let's go there right now as Maria is starting to head in that direction. CNN's Nick Valencia is in San Juan with much more. So, Nick, what are you hearing from folks there?
Frantic last-minute preps are underway right now as people prepare for the worst of the storm to come. There's a lot of anxiety here, Kate, among the residents. Emotionally, they've been through so much. You see some of the sandbags that the hotel here has put up. And just check out how dark those clouds are now starting to get out there. It was about 2 hours ago we saw a rain wall form out there in the ocean. Things have been slowly increasing, though. That wind has been sustained. I'll show you around this hotel here where we're at. We've just been kicked off the beach because people are preparing for the worst. The governor giving a dire last-minute warning saying it's time to act right now. If you can get out, if you can evacuate, the time to act is now. Last-minute flights are underway. The airports here close at 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. Respectively, so if you can afford it, there is still time to catch some of those last-minute flights. But I mentioned the anxiety among residents. You have a territory here that still, people here have no power. It's still noticeably damaged. You see roofs that are still damaged. You see people that are still struggling with the cleanup efforts. And here we are about a week later after Hurricane Irma came through here and didn't give a direct hit to this island territory. And now residents in this island territory staring down at something that is expected to be much, much worse. Kate?
It must be exhausting, all the warnings that are coming at them. I mean, it's amazing. No direct hit the last time, but this one is much more serious, it seems, for Puerto Rico. Nick is there. Nick, thank you so much for following this throughout the day. CNN, we also have a CNN exclusive we're going to bring to you in just a moment. CNN has learned that the U.S. government wiretapped President Trump's former campaign chairman, Paul Manafort. This is before and after the 2016 election. What does this mean for the Russia investigation? What does it...
The team for this middleweight fight. Napalm is 22, Priceless is 24. The rest is virtually identical. And with the official introduction, here's the better voice of the octagon, Bruce Buffer.
Visit your Acura dealer for 1.9% APR financing for well-qualified buyers of 2018 TLX.
Research on a perfect car, then smash it into a tree. Your insurance company raises your rates. Maybe you should have done more research on them.
For drivers with accident forgiveness, Liberty Mutual won't raise your rates due to your first accident. You can save $7.45 on insurance. 776 Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Are we wearing the roundhouse to the body?
Ensure always be you. We needed to hire
They've been in place, looking for a dominant position.
people that have the right experience.
No spending just reading resumes. To hire for
It's a new transition to Muay Thai fight.
London is the West's leading job boards with one click.
That's a punch.
Best candidates from one
He
list.
rocks with that
City
jab.
candidates with the right experience.
We have gotten consistently better results from ZipRecruiter than anywhere else.
Now we've got the Muay Thai talk.
ZipRecruiter. Try for free today at ZipRecruiter.
Tyson no today.
Holiday Inn Express, we can't guarantee
Breakfast or an egg white out. Just over 3 now. Both men landing that
I'm guessing. Without that. We started huddles because contact lenses are
right hand victory.
This is Willie. He's on his way to work in Alaska. This is John. He's on his way to work in New Mexico. Willie and John both work for us. A business that employs over 90,000 people in the U.S. alone.
Once again, here's our replay. Let's take a look at the replay. This is a shot that drops.
And we make much more than you suggest.
Clearly hurt badly here. Let's take a look at it one more time. Here's the knockdown. Vicious strike.
We've got drinks for long days, for birthdays,
Check it out here.
new weeks. And all of our products rely on the same thing we all do.
Lights out.
Clean water. Which is why we have John leading our efforts to replenish every drunk.
Has him been
Which is just one of the reasons we help college families with thousands of students. Today, companies need to do more work so John and Lily are trying to teach us that.
Wins by knockout.
Closed captioning brought to you by Sizol. For continuous plaque or allergy relief, take new Sizol. Allergy sufferers, if you have symptoms like these, try new Sizol. For relief that's as effective at hour 24 as at hour 1. So be wise all, take new Sizol.
Now a CNN exclusive. The U.S. government wiretapped the former Trump campaign chairman, Paul Manafort. Sources are telling CNN that surveillance, according to sources, took place before and after the election, as Manafort emerged as a central figure in the Russian election meddling investigation. Now, let's go to Shimon Prokupecz. He's part of the CNN team who broke the story, along with CNN's Evan Perez and Pamela Brown. So, Shimon, lay it out for us. What exactly have you learned?
Right, so sources tell us, Kate, that the FBI got permission from the surveillance court to monitor Paul Manafort before and after the election. This is an extraordinary step for the FBI to do such surveillance of a high-ranking campaign official. And of course, Manafort is now at the center of the Russia meddling probe. We're told that there are intercepted communications that raise concerns about whether Manafort was encouraging Russians to help the campaign. Other sources have told us that this intelligence was not conclusive. And as you know, Special Counsel Bob Mueller, who's looking into this, has been provided all these communications.
So what exactly do we mean by encouraging?
Well, we're told that the FBI has communications, right? These are talks between suspected Russian operatives relaying what they claimed were discussions with Manafort, as well as communications involving Manafort himself. None of this has amounted to what people consider a smoking gun in this investigation. There's still more work being done to determine whether there's a criminal violation here. And Manafort has previously denied he ever knowingly communicated with Russian intelligence during the election, and he's also denied helping Russians undermine U.S. interests, Kate.
From your reporting, we know that he was under surveillance, then there was a period he was not, and then he was back under surveillance. Do we know whether or not President Trump spoke to Manafort while he was under surveillance?
So what we've been told by sources is that the time period under which Manafort was under surveillance, we're still talking early this year, well after their campaign, and we've learned from sources that Manafort was talking to the president, that he and the president were communicating during that time. So it is possible that those conversations were collected.
The New York Times, Shimon, of course, you know, fleshes out some other details on the search and kind of what has followed. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so that, the New York Times yesterday afternoon in its report said, gave some interesting details about how the raid, the search took place inside Manafort's home in Virginia, which happened over the summer. They described how FBI agents who entered the home picked the lock. In some raids, sometimes they bust through the door. In this situation, They picked the lock. They went through the house. Manafort was sleeping. He was woken up. They searched him, and then they searched his home. They took photos of various suits, expensive suits is what the Times says. They then took some materials in a binder. They also copied some of the information on his computer. And most interestingly, probably, is that the Times says that Bob Mueller's team, the special counsel's team, told him that he should expect an indictment.
All right, Shimon, lock in there. Thank you so much.
The man that walked me through not every council of the other guys. Nor stands in the way of sinners, nor sits in the seat of scorn. But it's the light in the law of the Lord Yahweh. And this is all done to share. Yes, y'all. That is
yeah, baby, what?
That brings forth his perfect conceived. His speech awesome. And whatsoever you do, it shall prosper. The ungodly are not so, but I like the child. Then drive away, far away. Therefore, the ungodly shall not stand in judgment, nor sit in the
to go to a judge, and they have to present evidence that this person is
God shall perish.
This person is involved somehow in counterintelligence, in aiding foreign intelligence services. That doesn't prove that they are, but it certainly suggests that the FBI had more than a hunch, and they did it twice. So, on two occasions, they had enough evidence to persuade a judge to approve this kind of wiretap.
As you heard, I was asking Shimon about some of the reporting that some of the intelligence suggested that it appeared that Manafort was encouraging Russians to get involved. But it's unclear exactly what that means. What is the universe of possibility when you hear that?
It's very hard to delineate the entire universe of possibilities. But remember, I mean, we do know that all the intelligence agencies Hillary Clinton lose this election and Donald Trump win this election, whether it was efforts on Facebook, whether it was WikiLeaks. The question at the heart of this investigation is, did anyone affiliated with the Trump campaign encourage Russia, participate with Russia in those efforts to help Trump? That presumably is at the heart of what Mueller is looking at.
One of the many things that what he's looking at this very moment. Jeffrey, stick with me because we're bringing also to join the conversation Asha Rangappa. She's a CNN legal analyst. She's also a former FBI special agent who conducted classified investigations of suspected foreign agents. To the point that Jeffrey was kind of getting at, Asha, wiretap Manafort, investigators had to get a FISA warrant, of course. What exactly did they need to do? What exactly did they need to show? What exactly did they need to say in order to convince the judge?
Hey, you know what I'm gonna get with Retro Rocky today?
Yeah, so I got FISA
and put that in my
FBI, and I can
in the
assure
stream.
you it's very difficult. You just don't walk into a court and order a FISA. It's not a Starbucks. So you have to actually have conducted an investigation for usually a period of many months where you're getting, whether it's intelligence from other agencies, maybe you're digging through their trash, you're conducting physical surveillance, and you're gathering a lot of information in order to show a court that there's probable cause to believe that, as Jeffrey said, this person is knowingly acting on behalf of a foreign power and engaging in clandestine intelligence activities.
I'll be right back. I gotta reset my copyright.
They're looking like they are spying on behalf of this foreign government. And what your intent is, what you're trying to convince the court is that if you commence this electronic surveillance, again, you already are using all these other techniques. You're saying we need to use this other technique because we believe that in these communications,